From Cali to Tally, it's time to wake up. WarChant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source, and this is Wake Up War Chant. Now here's WarChant.com's Aslan Hudjavandi and Corey Clark.
Wake up! Oh, Friday edition of the show. These are the best. These are usually when we bring the gusto, but you folks are not working and you're taking 3-day weekends and you're not listening to the program, but it's all right. We're still going to bring the thunder. You just bring the lightning. Bring it to warchant.com. Use the promo code WARCHANT30, 30 free days of access. You're aware, obviously, there potentially could be a hold put on your credit card. You've been warned. Join the family. It'll be great. You won't want to leave. I promise. I promise you. I'm Aslan. Corey Clark is also here. He's the better half of the program, per usual. Corey, your thoughts, your feelings currently as we go into this show?
I'm excited. I'm excited for another Friday show. These are always fun. We always bring it. Can't wait to see how we do.
Corey, what are your thoughts on us just maybe one night just getting absolutely schnockered, as they say across the pond, and then doing a show? But we don't tell people that we're inebriated, but we just do it that way. I
mean, I think I would enjoy that. I think people would enjoy that as long as it would come with like a warning. So that, again, a lot of people listen to this in their cars with their kids.
Yep.
Maybe wouldn't want to hear two grown men drunk babbling on, but
sure.
There probably is a market for that too. There's a lot of people that like to see that or hear that.
I was always worried about doing that when I was in television because I thought it'd be.
What about St. Patty's Day? What if we did it for St. Patrick's Day?
Why? Because you're Irish. You're Scottish. I'm sorry. That was racist. I apologize.
Well, no, I am Scottish, sure. But, well, you know what I am? I'm American.
Damn right.
Scottish ancestry, but I'm American through and through.
Yeah.
But, that's more of I think people, when they think of a drinking holiday, it's either that or Cinco de Mayo.
Let's do Cinco de Mayo. Let's do that.
All right. That's fine. Yeah, March. In the middle of March, we'll still be in the midst of the basketball run.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Exactly. Fair.
Yeah, my concern
our May 5th
always...
show, is that going to be our May 5th show or our May 6th show?
Oh, that's a good point. Maybe we'll actually do that one live. We'll do live on site somewhere.
Okay, right. Perfect.
All right, let's start it off. Let's finish up the mailer view bag or the viewer mailbag or the listener mailbag. Honey Fried Pickens, he's got one of the top probably 10 avatars on War Chant. He's got the 1986 Jack Nicklaus stalking his birdie putt, I think on 16. And instead of the club hanging over his head, it's actually a spear. It's a great avatar. Anyhow, he says, "Good morning, gentlemen. Thanks for taking my question. I love the show." Can you feel the sincerity? I love it. How impressed are you with Cabangeli? The kid seems to be the real deal on and off the court and could be the next NBA Knoll. Thanks again. Much love to Seminole Nation. No doubt, HFP. No doubt.
Yeah, and I don't think, there's definitely, I think he will be the next NBA Knoll. It's just a matter of what year he decides to do that. But yeah, he's really one of them. I think we've made it obvious for a while how much we like the guy, and he just keeps adding to it.
Yeah. Ryan 1, good morning, guys. Love the commercials. Honey Fried Pickens is delusional. Cabangeli sucks and needs at least one more year to develop as a player. Just my professional eval. I played at the Y for 3 years before branching out to skateboarding, so I've seen a thing or two. Truth is, he's an absolute badass, and glad Ham and staff found him. More importantly, developed him. Keep shooting for mediocrity, fellas. You'll get there one day, a.k.a. you guys are awesome.
We're trying, buddy. We're trying. And, I haven't seen enough from Cabangeli to even think about. It really is going to be interesting with him, and I won't make this a long answer, but it isn't like he's a no-doubt lottery pick.
Right.
The guy does not start. He averages 13 a game. He's had some great moments, and he's got a lot of potential. But I do think, and again, it's not my life, it's his. If he came back, started, averaged 20 and 12, which he is quite capable of doing, with leading the team in three-pointers and rebounds and everything else, he could play himself into a lottery pick. I think he's that talented. I think that they'll be salivating when they see him for a full year playing 30 minutes a game. But also, he could still maybe be a first-round pick this year if he came out, and it's hard to turn down that kind of money.
Even if
Dikembe is your uncle.
Yeah, that's really, you nailed it, bro. Let's move on to that. That's fantastic. Garnett76, hey, guys. I was born in South Bend, Indiana, but grew up in Clearwater, Florida, home of Sarah Blakely, the Spanx lady. Between the two of us, we are quite wealthy. LOL. I've heard you guys reminiscing about old TV shows recently, and it occurred to me that Seminole Headlines is basically the show Cheers minus the beers. So the question is, how would you guys remake the show with FSU media personalities? I would have Gene as Dr. Fraser Crane, Ira as Norm, Corey as Cliff Clavin, and Aslan as Sam Malone. What do you guys think? Thank you for entertaining us fans throughout the longest offseason in FSU history.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. Yeah. I don't know if Ira's definitely not Norm.
I'm not a
Norm is kind of funny and likes everyone and is cordial and like a big teddy bear. That's not Ira.
Yeah.
Ira's like, who was Fraser married to? Lilith?
Sure.
Kind of cold and stern. Or maybe, yeah, I'd say that. I could be Cliff Clavin, though. I could do that. I would say Jeff Cameron is probably Norm. And then, yeah, you as Sam, I can deal with that.
Yeah, I mean, I wish
Playboy,
I was as good as
good
Ted
hair.
Danson did. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I can deal with that.
Who played Cliff Clavin?
John Ratzenberger.
Oh, you're that guy? All right. Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
That works. Maxwell Gibbs. Happy Valentine's Day, gents. Day late. I'm going to give a take that won't be popular, but I don't care. FSU will go 5-7 next season. Until they prove it otherwise, this program is a 5-7 program. Not rooting against Willie Taggart, but I won't be fooled again this offseason. By the way, Aslan, reminder, your Lakers are sitting in 10th place in the West. That's 2 spots outside the playoffs, in case you didn't know. Told you they wouldn't make the playoffs. Let's pivot to our friend Kadar, also from New York City. Hey, fellas, I'm going to be the voice of optimism in a sea of pessimism, because at the end of the day, life's too short. Outside of Brian Burns, who else of great value to the program did we lose? I've been done with Naquan Murray for a while now. Going on Instagram Live in the locker room after the BC game was the nail in the coffin for me. Time to get higher ceiling, higher character guys like Trayshawn Harrison some reps, Antonio Brown mentality with PK Sam ability. DeAndre, no need to beat a dead horse here. Completely antithesis of the culture we're trying to build. If Jordan Travis gets his waiver, I really won't care. George Campbell, oh man, hate to lose a former consensus 5-star recruit. Sucks we're stuck with a 3-star like Tamorian Terry. Zaquandre Wright, LOL. Point is, new blood on the O-line, better coaches installing this system. Harlan Barnett, second year with older, wiser Marvin Dontavius. New horses in the secondary so we aren't forced to play A.J. Westbrook and Kyle Myers. A different Willie Taggart who has admitted he's changing his approach this season. I like our chances for significant improvement this year with the lighter schedule. Lots of addition by subtraction taking place on this roster. Go Noles. Winning will heal all, and this will be a long 7 months of kickoff. Keep up the great work with the show.
You need a glass of water after that?
Go. I'm drinking.
All right.
Go.
That's. I feel like those last 2 questions, Maxwell and who was that
Kadar.
that just talked?
Kadar.
Kind of is a great representation of the Florida State fan base currently, right?
Yep.
You have the one guy that says, "Hey, they're 5-7. I'm not gonna be fooled again, and they're gonna be 5-7 until they prove me wrong." Can't argue with that. You have the other guy that sees the light, sees the silver lining, sees the sun breaking through the clouds. In all his reasoning, you can't really argue that either. Yeah. So, hey, man, that's the Florida State fan base in a nutshell. Yeah. So some are non-believers, some are optimists, and we'll see who's right in about 8 months.
Candy for Knowles. So here's a little something that would be interesting to hear your takes on. Combine these facts. The NCAA appears to be granting all the waivers applied for so far. Scholarships are 1-year renewable grants. And FSU is slowly going to implement a if you commit, don't take other visits rule. The way things seem to be moving quickly, doesn't this just lead to the top 20% of football players viewing college football as a wide open marketplace with free agency renewing annually?
Yeah, if they make it where these transfers go through without having to sit out a year and there's no punishment at all, there's no I get it, man. I get the argument that, hey, coaches can leave whenever they want. Why can't players? And I get it. And I know that that's more equitable and it makes more sense, especially because the players don't really get any money, except for those stipends and the scholarship and everything else. But they really don't get money. I wasn't being sarcastic there. But man, you have to re-recruit kids every year to keep them on your team. Mm-hmm. That's how it's going to be now. We're cool with that. College football world, we're cool with no, James, don't leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that, but I understand it. I don't know what can be done about it other than the NCAA says, no, you're not going to be able to sit. You're not going to be able to be eligible immediately. If they made that the case like 99% of the time, then the transfers would stop very quickly. But it seems like it's going in the other direction, which means it's only going to expedite the transfer process for everyone and make it more and more. It's going to make it much more of a feasible option for kids. And if they don't play right away, they're going to be like, I'm getting in the portal. So, man, that's not usually how college football works. You have to wait your turn a little bit at a place like Florida State typically. But now you're going to have to re-recruit these kids, or they're going to want to go somewhere else. Whoever finished second. Maybe Anthony Edwards will transfer to Florida State if he has a bad year at Georgia next year.
Yeah. Candy PS'd us or added to her question. Are we still in it for Nick Cross when he shops around again in 2 years? Touche.
You mean Nick Double Cross? Oh. And yeah, kind of right. Yeah. What's the what if he has what if the coach, his dad gets fired, or his high school coach that's there now gets fired? What if they go 0-12 and he's like, this is nonsense. I'm not doing this.
Right.
I guess you never stop recruiting a kid even when he signs with someone else.
Don't stop recruiting.
All right.
Hold on to the I really wish I had a list of players that have transferred and have got their waivers approved. Because the only one I know off the top of my head is the Tate Martell kid from Ohio State that kind of makes you be like, whoa, really he's automatically, but he lost his head coach. But they went to such great lengths to keep some sense of continuity there at Ohio State with Ryan Day, the offensive coordinator, being promoted, that you'd figure the NCAA would be like, well, I know you committed maybe to the coach and not the program, and that's not the way you're supposed to do it. But, pretty much a guy from that tree is still there. A guy that was there when you arrived on campus is still there. No, we're not going to approve this. But if he got approved, then, that's more – I think that should be talked about more so than Justin Fields. The Justin Fields one, there's a little bit of traction to that one, but it looks like sour grapes. Obviously, the fact that he went there, couldn't take down Jake Fromm, and now it's like, all right, retreat. But I don't know the backstory behind enough of these. And listen, I know everybody's rooting, obviously, for Jordan Travis to be immediately eligible. But doesn't it make sense? If Jordan Travis was going to Florida, would we be like, well, this is nonsense. He shouldn't get approved. He got recruited to Louisville by the Petrino family. That whole staff is gone. I think, not even so much for self-preservation for Florida State fans, but if we're going to judge it basically by, what's right, what's equitable, if that's not a fair enough reason to transfer, then really what is? So it's a weird sort of line to walk, but I do agree to your point. It's a destabilizing force in the sport. The one thing the NCAA has been sort of firmly on the side of the entire time that at least I've been alive is keeping a hold of amateurism, right? They don't want to pay these kids money. Say what you will, is if that's their greed and they want to keep all the money in-house, or they don't want to make this into glorified semi-pro, an semi-pro endeavor. But, dude, if you're going to create free agency, if you're going to let kids transfer, gain immediate eligibility no matter where they go, that's just as much of a destabilizing force as letting kids get paid, letting them get $1,000 on the side, letting their parents get driven to campus by people who live across the street. So it is a really bizarre sort of line that they're trying to traverse. But here we are, man. Just drink it in, everybody, right?
It's just where it's the state of the sport, and I don't know what can be done about it, but it really is I don't know, man. It's just, and it's not like I feel bad for coaches making a gazillion dollars, but you do, even when a kid signs with you, you have to make sure they're happy or they might bounce.
Yeah. And actually, I was trying to look it up as I started making less sense because I was Googling. I actually don't know if Tate Martell.
I don't know if he is too. I know Justin Fields is at Ohio State.
Yeah, Martell, it says that he's going to be eligible in 2020, but apparently he's lawyered up. And maybe trying to get that change, but
well, maybe because of all the stuff with Urban Meyer and
I don't know.
His receivers coach.
That was a bad thing for me to bring up. I'll be honest, folks, and I shouldn't. Corey's probably like, stop talking, Aslan. Don't be honest. There's a lot of things that I see and know that's going on, and I should read on it because it's part of the sphere and the scope of my job. But I don't want to read anything about refereeing. I don't want to read anything about transfers. There's so many things I don't like this. We're about to take a question here about Clemson and PED usage. I don't care. And I don't. It's not because I have a small brain. I don't want to put anything more on it that I already can handle. These things I don't want to know about them, man. Because nothing's going to change. What do we got? We're going to start taking away. We're going to take away Clemson's trophy. They don't deserve it. They had guys for PED use. We're going to try to get Dabo kicked out of Clemson. It's not going to happen. I don't want to fight these fights. But let's get to that question as I try to find it here. It comes from Rookie Baby. He says, "Wake up! Thanks for the constant content, fellas. Remember, you guys are the A team, national treasures. We must protect Wake Up War Chant at all costs." What do you guys think about Dabo's statement that Clemson might have, quote, mistakenly given players PEDs? PEDs are performance-enhancing drugs, kids. Don't take them. Just take your vitamins, take one a day, drink some orange juice, do a couple push-ups, sit-ups. You'll be fine. Also, are you surprised that there is a very little backlash or coverage of the failed tests? Do you believe it would be a bigger backlash if it occurred at FSU and Willie made those statements?
No,
I don't take it because I don't want to go down this alley.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. It happened during the build-up to the national championship game. I don't know that you can get a bigger, or maybe the semifinals. Yeah. I don't know you can get a bigger platform than that. What's weird though is that if they mistakenly gave it to him, why just those 3 kids? What were the other 82 guys getting? Usually these guys all get the same thing. I haven't read up on it enough to know.
Same here. Sorry, everybody.
I don't get, especially in football, man. I was having a conversation with my buddy the other day about football in the NFL, and it's like, man, whatever they're battering their bodies for our entertainment, especially in the NFL. Those guys are monsters. All of them are enormous. I guess it came up because of Edelman. Edelman, what people are now talking about him maybe being a potential Hall of Famer, and he was popped for PEDs this year. Yeah. In baseball, He's ostracized. No chance. But this guy, now he's celebrated, and it's like nobody even remembered that he did it. And I was thinking, you know what? Fine. A slot receiver in the NFL, any guy in the NFL, whatever they have to do to keep their bodies healthiest to do it. And I know you can say, well, there's long-term effects of this and that. I get it, sure. But there's also long-term effects we think of just playing football in general. If they're willing to do that, to put their bodies on the line and take a grueling beating just for our entertainment, man, do whatever you got to do to get right, for recovery purposes, for strength purposes, so you can endure more. Anything just to be able to do it, because you have a finite amount of time to play that sport. And I cannot make myself care about football players getting popped for PEDs. Maybe anabolic steroids would be different. If we're 1982 East Germany, I might have a problem with that. But just, some flaxseed oil or whatever those kids at Clemson were taking. All right, man, just try not to get caught next time.
Right. Ulsterine, I don't even know how to pronounce what they're taking, is used primarily to build lean muscle mass. And while it's not approved by the FDA or legally allowed to be sold in the U.S., there are times when the drug is in supplements without being listed on the label. Oh, yeah. There's a chance that it could come from anything, Sweeney said when asked if it's possible that players ingested Ulsterine in Clemson-issued supplements or were exposed to it in some other way at the school. They're going to test everything and look at everything, and that's the problem. As you really look at the stuff, it could be a contaminant that came from anything. That was something that was cleared and not a problem, and all of a sudden, it becomes there was something. Yeah, this just... I don't know. I think, yeah, if this happened to FSU and Willie said it, would there be a bigger backlash? Maybe because this program is in shambles and it's trying to
maybe, sure.
I don't subscribe to it, and I know it's going to get people upset. I don't think ACC refs are biased against Florida State. I don't think Greensboro's biased against Florida State. Listen, Duke just had to go play at Virginia and then at Louisville in a 4-day stretch, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Mm-hmm.
That's not very favorable. Duke is the darling of the conference. Listen, these things happen. Scheduling happens. I don't think that there's any sort of semblance ESPN, oh my gosh, Florida State did this. Let's send everybody to Tallahassee. Let's get it done. I just don't. I know the New York Times staged everything out here because of Jameis and everything is because, listen, man, he was the Heisman-winning trophy quarterback. He was already, there's some other things floating around with, the program. In terms of them going after P.J. Williams and trying to find these, other things that had nothing to do with Jameis, they were here trying to find whatever they could on Jameis. I think it was because, obviously, they were successful. They were national champions, undefeated. They had a Heisman-winning quarterback. Those sort of things all factor into it. It's obviously a big-time football program. If this would happen at Purdue, I don't think it happens, but I don't think that's because it's Purdue and they're biased against Florida State. It's just no glamour at Purdue. They don't have a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback.
Once it became one, and we'll certainly get off this topic. Once it became Jameis all day, every day for the New York Times, of course there was an agenda, and of course there was biases. That's a word, right? They were down here covering the coaches show, the Jimbo Fisher Collins show. They wrote a story about how nobody in the audience would ask Jimbo a hard question. It was utter nonsense.
Well, at that point, isn't it because they're invested in it? Like, so they at that point they have to try to get something.
I think they were chasing a Pulitzer. I think they, in a Pulitzer, it can be a series of stories. So I think they wanted, here's our Jameis Winston coverage. They won a Pulitzer. So let's write as many Florida State stories as we can and make it a series that we can submit to the Pulitzer committee. I genuinely think that's what they were trying to do. It did not work. And they just kept building on the thing they wrote back in April. And, none of it really was relevant to the main story. None of it. BB guns and scooters and blah, 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 coaches shows. None of it. So there can be they certainly had an agenda.
Cal. If it happened in Southern Cal,
sure,
Corey.
Exactly, it would. Same thing.
Yes.
Same thing. Florida State isn't any different than there's about a top 20, 25 schools where they're going to go, where they know that people will care and they're going to write about it. Once Jameis became toxic, everybody wanted to write about it.
Yeah.
Everybody. It was click chasing, and some of it certainly was brought on by him. I mean, you can't blame people necessarily. It wasn't like they were exactly making stuff up when it came to him standing on a table or him doing this or that or any of those players. But by and large, yes, if that had happened, if he had been at Florida, if he had been at Tennessee when they were great, all that stuff, it had come out now in this day and age, in 2014, then yeah, I think I don't think Florida State was really any different. It was just, it became over the top. It just became over the top. But that's what media is now in 2019. Yeah. But I will say this: you're crazy if you don't think the football refs are biased.
Okay.
Crazy.
Okay. Lloyd 72.
When are they going to call a lineman on for holding Brian Burns? That ever going to happen?
Lloyd 72.
All I'm saying. Who's with me, folks? Who's with me?
Everybody's with you, Corey. Everybody's
right.
with you. Everyone boo Aslan. Boo this man. Boo this man. Boo him. Lloyd 72 wishes a happy belated Valentine's Day to our amazing ladies softball team. Amen, Lloyd. Amen.
Right on.
Rully for FSU. The War Chant Cheers lineup is great casting, with the big exception being Aslan portraying Sam Malone. Sam was the man. Aslan could definitely play Woody, though, or perhaps Lilith. Not too long ago, someone made a post on the Tribal Council asking who would make it onto the Mount Rushmore of FSU. Very interesting thread with no shortage of popular players and coaches and administrators from our storied past. My question to you, fine gentlemen, is who would be on the villainous version of FSU's Mount Rushmore for leaving the most negative impact on our program and or university? Given the Sam Howell fiasco and recent revelations from Michael Langston that the mighty Walt Bell played a slight role with Nick Double-Cross flipping to Maryland, I nominate him to occupy one of the spots. From there, it gets a little murky. Academic tutor who ratted us out regarding the music class cheating, super agent Bob Sugar, Jimmy Sexton, his mug may take up an entire side of the cliff. Maybe one spot could be the right upright of a goalpost. Can an inanimate object even occupy one of the spots? What say you? I know it's a bit on the negative side, but figured we could kick around some names for fun, get it all out of our system, and then turn the page as we look forward to the 2019 season. Keep up the great work, fellas.
Yeah, so a Mount Rushmore of villains
fantastic.
within the university. So Jeff Bowden, that's obvious, right? I think everybody's thinking that.
Oh, gosh.
People really kind of, point to him as the reason that thing crumbled. Yeah. I think he's up there. I wouldn't say the tutor. Number one, the tutor didn't rat anyone out. The tutor was ratted out. I think that's how it worked, right?
I don't recollect.
And then the academic counselor is the one that kind of made it. And that I don't think the academic counselor was a villain. I think the way Florida State handled it by telling the NCAA was the dumbest thing anyone's ever done.
Yeah. All right.
That's impossibly dumb. You don't tell the NCAA anything. You don't self-report. It never goes well. You never get the benefit of the doubt. They never say, "Hey, thanks for doing our job for us. We'll let it slide this time. We really appreciate you self-reporting. Thanks. We won't punish you. Oh no, never mind. We're going to take all the wins from your famous head coach. You know what I mean? Or we're going to take a track national title and some baseball wins. Whatever you. Thanks, man. Thanks for letting us know. We're now time to vacate some stuff. Oh, and you're going to play a bowl game with 9 players. Thanks for self-reporting. Don't do it. So whoever's I think that was TK. I'm not saying TK belongs on the Mount Rushmore. I'm saying that was all him. Like it wasn't great, but don't self-report. Just don't tell the NCAA. They've given no universities a reason to ever self-report. All they do is hammer these people. So hopefully smart universities will just stop self-reporting. Yeah, but I don't know. The Jeff Bowden.
If we're going to open the door, I don't want to open the door to inanimate objects. That's too.
What about Chris Casher? And I only say it because I think not only was he seemingly always around Jameis when stuff was going on, and didn't live up really to that 5-star rating.
He was 4 stars. Erroneous.
I don't think he was 5, but either way, he was 5 at one point. But he might have played a role in Dante Fowler not coming, and the kid that went to USC that Florida State really wanted.
Leonard
that was
Williams.
Like the number 3 pick. What was his name?
Leonard Williams.
Yeah. I think maybe he might have – the fact that Casher was signed maybe kept one of them from coming. So throw that out there. At least you didn't have those 2 kids.
Man, Casher,
you didn't get those 2 kids.
Casher fell on the sword in the Jameis fiasco. Yeah, no way, man. No. Casher's.
I mean, sure, but that's implied there was a sword to fall on, that he was like lying about something, and we don't know that. I do think that he certainly just everything around him and his recruitment, and maybe that didn't help land those kids.
His quote to the AP was just golden, though. The whole, they said like he broke his phone or held out evidence, and he was like, "That's BS," and you can print that. It was amazing. He's always going to be a legend in my mind.
Okay, all right, fair enough. That works.
Like Steve Robinson? Yeah,
that's a good one for sure. Andrew Wiggins, I blame him.
Okay.
What you couldn't have committed back, a year ago. You know what I mean? Like you had to drag that out into May or whenever that was, and then you still spurn these guys. But again, I guess he didn't go to Florida State.
Yeah.
They don't, when you think about it, Florida State doesn't have a lot of like awful coaches.
No.
I mean, who would you say? I mean, I'm sure people listen to this would say Jimbo. I'm not putting him up there.
Nope. It's my guy.
Maybe Rick Trickett won a championship. No, I don't know, man. That's too hard a question. It's too hard a question. I can't answer it. Yeah, Aslan, go. Just come up with one name. I come up with Jeff Bowden.
Maybe Dalvin Cook's hands. Just his hands.
His hands would be on the mountain?
With like the gloves that he wore in the Rose Bowl.
Oh, I see. Because of those fumbles, yeah.
Yeah, that just shows you how amazing he is. Because
Charles Kelly would be a better representation.
Yeah. All right, everyone just stop yelling at everyone's like, "You idiots, Charles Kelly."
There you go.
All right.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Let's do the last one here. Wasn't that bad, right, Corey?
No, this was perfect.
Seminole Nation 1474. Happy Valentine's Day, gentlemen. That's a day late. Sorry, Seminole Nation 1474. Tim here from Evansville, Indiana, home of Don Mattingly, Andy Bennis, and Bob Greasy. What is the best and worst Valentine's gift you have ever received? Which coach at FSU would you most want to be your Valentine? Love the show. Keep up the good work.
Man, I need to write these. I need to read these ahead of time. These are hard. You spring the love songs thing on me in last show, and then this one, a coach that I think me and Leonard would have a good time. Yeah. I mean, like going out to dinner. That could have been taken a lot of different ways. Because he's got fancy tastes. He's always recommending restaurants in every city. So I think he and I would have a good time on a Valentine's dinner talking about ball. I mean, that guy's seen it all. That guy recruited Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
He's seen it all. That would be fun just to pick his brain for an hour and a half over a nice bottle. Well, he'd have a bottle of wine maybe. I don't even know if he drinks, but I would have my Mick Ultras, and we'd eat something nice. What about you, Aslan? Who's your coach?
Jimbo? Does that count?
I mean, he doesn't count. Somebody on the campus now.
Golly. Mark Krikorian?
Okay.
Just talk about the, tactics. The advantages of playing a left back with good instincts. It's less of a stopper, but more of a traditional left halfbacks.
Sure,
sort of stuff.
sure, and also maybe tap into that championship mindset, like what makes him such a winner. When did he know he was a winner? That kind of thing. Yeah. He'd probably be good for you as far as like, I don't know, just if you're not feeling good about yourself one day, he'd be a good like self-help guy.
Yeah. Wow. Best worst Valentine's Day gift, Corey?
Man, I am having a hard time thinking of a Valentine's Day gift.
Ooh.
Yeah, I can't. It's not really a thing, right? Where women give guys things. Not something you could talk about on a podcast anyway.
Hey-o.
Hey-o. You know what I'm saying, guys and ladies, huh?
Hey, Corey.
Well, no, I mean, I didn't mean that to sound like it did, but like, I don't know that I've ever gotten like a great Valentine's Day gift.
Yeah, it's usually just a card. No, like a card, and I'll pay for lunch.
That's a card. I guess I've gotten cards.
Yeah, who likes cards?
And I never got one in like high school or middle school from a secret admirer.
Yeah,
I don't know. So I've never gotten a good one or a bad one.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Rully. I think the question about the evil, villainous Mount Rushmore is literally one of the best questions we've ever had on this show, and I feel like we totally let you down. I'm still trying to. I don't know, man.
No, it's a great one. But if you have to limit, maybe I didn't understand the question. I was thinking, like, I think you would throw like, I don't know, Spurrier in there or Burful or somebody like that. But it seems like it has to be Florida State people.
Yeah, I mean, who left the most negative impact on the university or the program? Yeah,
I mean, I think Jeff Bowden and Steve Robinson for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't agree with it, but I'm sure there's people that are like idiots. You should say Jimbo. Look what he left us in.
You won a national championship. Yeah. You're not going up there as a villain. He did not leave this program in great shape, but guess what? He didn't take over in great shape. And 4 years later, they were hoisting a title. So he doesn't belong anywhere near that. I wouldn't put him on the Mount Rushmore of great Florida State folks either, but I certainly wouldn't put him on the villain list. So, yeah, I mean, I think when you got Steve Robinson, maybe Charles Kelly, obviously Jeff Bowden.
Whoever stole the recipe for Seminole Firewater and named it Gatorade, screw you. Mm-hmm. Whoever was the Speaker of the House in the Florida legislature and did not make Florida do a home and home from the jump, screw you. There we go. That's all the fire I have left in me on this Lovers Weekend.
And he doesn't belong on this list, but I'm going to throw him out there because he belongs somewhere. Whoever gave Randy Moss the weed.
Ooh.
Like he didn't grow it himself.
Okay. Right.
So who gave him that weed that got him popped, that sent him, I think, to jail, right, for a few days for violating probation?
Yeah.
And then he never got to play it down at Florida State? That guy is on my Mount Rushmore.
Ooh, how about this one,
Imagine that dude. We had only been a couple years. We get it. 3 years, 2 years probably that he would have played at Florida State. But sweet Moses, it would have been fun to watch that dude on the same team with Warwick Dunn and Peter Warwick and E.G. Green and Andre Cooper.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, so screw you, man. Maybe you could blame Randy Moss too. He didn't have to smoke it.
I mean, but you gave it to him. What is he supposed to do? I mean, was he supposed to look at it? Come on.
Yeah. I mean, he's just trying to be nice at that point. He don't want to be rude.
Yeah.
You went to the trouble of rolling that and giving it to him? What's he going to just throw it back at you?
Economy. Hey, let me say this one. Going to be maybe controversial because I said, let me be that guy. What about Willie Meggs?
Well, yeah, but what did he He never really took care of Florida State football players. But the only really negative impact he had, I would say, now Travis Johnson would disagree because he made him go to trial over that craziness. But he cost Peter Warrick a Heisman by making that a felony.
All right.
But other than that, I don't know that anything he did had a lasting impact at Florida State.
Okay. Sorry, Willie.
I'd say that.
Can he still if I get arrested, is he going to throw me in jail forever, or is he gone?
I think he's gone, right?
Okay. All right.
He's got to be 80-something years old now. But, I should probably know that. I don't. Yeah. People are yelling at their radios right now.
I've only been here for a year, everybody. Relax. I'm not an LCR. I'm not a Leon County, I am an LCR. I'm not an LCM. I'm not a Leon County native.
And you don't break laws, so you got nothing to worry about, right?
I'll be all right. All right, and with that said, we're done here. Strong show, as always, from Corey S. Clark. Check out everything he does over on warchant.com. And we will catch up with you folks most likely on Monday, but check the Twitter. It's at Wake Up War Chant. We'll let you know. Have a great weekend. He's Corey Maslon. Thanks for listening.
Warchant.com is the ultimate inside source for FSU football and recruiting. And now you can get in on the action for free for an entire month. Warchant.com is offering a risk-free 30-day trial subscription. Get full access to the #1 website covering the Seminoles just by entering the promo code WARCHANT30. That's WARCHANT30. Sign up and get in on the world's most active FSU message boards. Receive breaking news, stories from our award-winning staff, plus get exclusive interviews and videos. Just enter the promo code WARCHANT30. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source.